In the small, sun-dappled village of Iodel, two sisters were born under the same roof but lived in different worlds. Adama and Kemi, though twins, were as different as night and day. At just 15 years old, Kemi was a vision of beauty and intelligence, adored by all who met her. Her bright mind and striking appearance earned her praise and admiration from the entire village. Adama, on the other hand, struggled in school and found herself perpetually in her sister's shadow. Adama's parents, Mama and Papa, adored Kemi and showered her with affection and gifts. Whenever Kemi achieved something, even the smallest accomplishment, they celebrated it lavishly. New dresses, toys, and books filled Kemi's room, while Adama's achievements, though few, went unnoticed. At the end of every school term, Kemi was always among the top 5 students in her class, whilst Adama found herself consistently in the bottom 5, struggling to improve her position despite her best efforts. "Why can't you be more like your sister, Kemi?" Mama would often say, her voice tinged with disappointment. Papa would nod in agreement, adding, "Kemi is everything we ever hoped for in a daughter." Kemi, basking in the constant praise and attention, grew increasingly arrogant. She began to treat Adama with disdain, mimicking their parents' critical attitude. "You're so slow, Adama. It's no wonder Mama and Papa don't pay you any attention," Kemi would sneer, her words sharp and hurtful. Adama, already burdened by her own insecurities, felt the sting of her sister's cruelty deeply. At school, Adama's struggles were evident. She found it hard to keep up with her studies and often felt lost in the classroom. Her teachers, frustrated with her slow pace, offered little encouragement. The only person who showed her kindness was Nancy, a bright and cheerful girl who had recently joined their school. Nancy was intelligent and beautiful, much like Kemi, but she possessed a warmth that drew Adama to her. One afternoon, as the sun cast a golden glow over the village, Adama sat alone under the shade of a large baobab tree, her heart heavy with sadness. Nancy noticed her and approached with a gentle smile. "Adama, why do you look so sad?" she asked, sitting down beside her. Adama hesitated before opening up about her struggles at home and school. "My parents only care about Kemi. They never see me, and Kemi, she treats me just as badly," Adama confessed, her voice trembling. Nancy listened intently, her eyes filled with empathy. "I know it's hard, Adama, but you mustn't let their words bring you down. There are many ways to succeed in life. Find what you're good at and pursue it with all your heart," Nancy advised gently. Adama found solace in Nancy's words. They sparked a glimmer of hope in her heart, and she began to dream of a future where she could prove her worth, not just to her parents, but to herself. Despite the harsh treatment from her family and the challenges at school, Adama was determined to find her own path. At home, the disparity between the twins' treatment continued to widen. Mama and Papa's favoritism was evident in their daily interactions. While Kemi was given the best of everything, from clothes to school supplies, Adama was often left with hand-me-downs and neglected belongings. Kemi's room was a colorful array of new dresses, toys, and books, while Adama's space was sparse and unadorned. One evening, after another day of being overlooked and belittled, Adama gathered her courage and approached her parents. "Mama, Papa, I want to learn something new. Please, can I learn pottery after school?" she asked timidly. Her parents exchanged a look before bursting into laughter. "You can't even keep up with your studies, and now you want to learn pottery. Who will pay for your lessons?" Papa scoffed. Mama shook her head dismissively. "Focus on your studies, Adama. Pottery won't get you anywhere," she said firmly. Kemi, overhearing the conversation, added her own cutting remark. "Why would anyone waste their time teaching you? You're hopeless, Adama," she sneered. Adama felt her heart sink, but Nancy's words of encouragement echoed in her mind. She refused to give up. Disheartened but not defeated, Adama decided to find a way on her own. She began helping villagers with small tasks after school, saving every bit she earned. She washed clothes, fetched water, and did any chore that would earn her a few coins. Months passed, and Adama finally saved enough to approach a local potter named Grace. Grace was a kind woman known for her exquisite pottery. She agreed to teach Adama in exchange for help in her workshop. Adama started learning in secret, with Nancy covering for her whenever her parents asked about her whereabouts. Adama's hands were clumsy at first, but Grace's patient guidance helped her improve. Every day after school, Adama rushed to the workshop, eager to learn. The process of molding the clay was therapeutic. Adama felt a sense of accomplishment with each piece she created. Despite the challenges at home and school, Adama's spirit remained unbroken. She continued to persevere, fueled by a dream of a brighter future. One day, while Adama was deeply engrossed in her work, her father discovered her at the potter's workshop. Furious, he accused her of stealing his money to pay for her lessons. Despite Adama's pleas and explanations, her father left without listening to her. Adama returned home in tears after being discovered at Grace's pottery workshop. Her father's fury was palpable, his eyes blazing with disappointment and anger. She had hoped to keep her lessons a secret until she could prove her worth, but now her dreams seemed shattered. Papa paced the small living room, his footsteps heavy and echoing in the tense silence. Mama stood by, her arms crossed, a frown etched deeply on her face. Kemi, standing smugly in the corner, watched the scene unfold with a mix of satisfaction and disdain. "Adama, what were you thinking?" Papa finally roared, breaking the silence. "How could you waste your time on such foolishness when you should be studying? You are a disgrace to this family." Adama's heart pounded in her chest. She had never seen her father so angry. "Papa, I'm sorry. I just wanted to find something I'm good at. I wanted to make you proud," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "Make us proud? By playing with mud?" Mama scoffed, shaking her head. "Your sister is excelling in her studies and making something of herself. And you're throwing away your future for a useless hobby." Kemi couldn't resist adding her own cutting remark. "You've always been a disappointment, Adama. You should just accept that you'll never be like me." Adama's cheeks burned with humiliation. She had hoped her family would understand her passion, but their harsh words cut deep. Tears streamed down her face as she struggled to find her voice. "I'm trying. I really am. Pottery makes me feel like I have a purpose," she said softly. Papa's face turned an even deeper shade of red. "Enough," he bellowed. "You've embarrassed this family enough. If you can't follow our rules and focus on your studies, then you have no place here." The words hung in the air, heavy and final. Adama's world shattered around her. She had never imagined her father would go this far. "Papa, please," she whispered, her voice barely audible. But Papa was resolute. "Pack your things and leave this house. You're no longer welcome here," he declared, his voice cold and unyielding. Adama felt a wave of despair wash over her. She had nowhere to go, no one to turn to. She looked at Mama, hoping for a glimmer of compassion, but her mother's expression remained stern and unforgiving. Kemi's smug smile only deepened her sense of betrayal. With a heavy heart, Adama gathered her few belongings, tears blurring her vision. She looked around the room one last time, memories of her childhood flooding back. She had always felt like an outsider in her own home, but now she was truly alone. As she stepped out of the house, the sun was setting, casting a golden hue over the village. The streets were quiet, and the air was filled with the scent of evening meals being prepared. Adama walked aimlessly, her mind racing with fear and uncertainty. Eventually, her feet led her to Grace's pottery workshop. The warm glow of the lanterns inside was a stark contrast to the cold darkness that had settled in her heart. She stood at the doorway, unsure of what to do next. Grace looked up from her work, her eyes widening in surprise when she saw Adama. "Adama, what's wrong?" she asked, concern evident in her voice. Unable to hold back her tears any longer, Adama broke down. "Papa found out about the lessons. He threw me out of the house," she sobbed. Grace's expression softened with sympathy. She set down her tools and approached Adama, wrapping her in a comforting embrace. "Oh, my dear child, I'm so sorry," she murmured. "Come, you can stay here with me. We'll figure something out." Adama felt a glimmer of hope amidst her despair. Grace's kindness was a lifeline in her darkest hour. She nodded, grateful beyond words. "Thank you, Grace. I don't know what I would have done without you," she said, her voice choked with emotion. The days that followed were a blur of activity and adjustment. Adama threw herself into her pottery with renewed determination. She worked tirelessly, eager to prove to herself and the world that she was capable of greatness. Grace's gentle guidance and encouragement were a balm to her wounded spirit. 3 years passed, and Adama's skills grew. She found solace in the rhythmic motions of shaping clay, the feel of it molding beneath her hands. Each piece she created was a testament to her resilience and inner strength. She began to see the beauty in her own journey, the way her struggles had shaped her into someone who could overcome any obstacle. Adama's work started to gain recognition in the village. People admired her unique designs and the passion evident in every piece. Slowly, her confidence grew, and she began to believe in herself again. But the pain of her family's rejection still lingered. She missed her home, despite the harsh words and comparisons. She longed for their acceptance, even as she found a new sense of belonging in Grace's workshop. One evening, as Adama was putting the finishing touches on a particularly intricate vase, Grace approached her. "You've come a long way, Adama. I'm so proud of you," she said, her voice filled with warmth. Adama smiled, a genuine smile that reached her eyes. "Thank you, Grace. I couldn't have done it without you," she replied. Grace nodded, her expression thoughtful. "You've always had the strength within you, Adama. Sometimes it just takes a little push to bring it out." As Adama looked around the workshop, she realized that this place had become her sanctuary. It was here that she had discovered her passion, her purpose. And it was here that she would continue to build her future, no matter what challenges lay ahead. Adama's days at Grace's workshop were a blend of hard work and healing. With every piece of pottery she crafted, she felt a bit of her shattered confidence mend. Grace's guidance was invaluable, and for the first time in her life, Adama felt a sense of purpose. She poured her heart into her work, shaping the clay with care and precision, creating pieces that reflected her journey of resilience. One afternoon, Grace had to travel to a neighboring village to deliver some of her finished pottery. She left Adama in charge of the workshop, trusting her completely. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the village, Grace's husband, Bayo, returned home. He was a tall, imposing man, known for his stern demeanor. Adama was cleaning up when Bayo approached her. His presence made her uneasy, but she continued with her tasks, hoping he would leave her be. However, Bayo had other intentions. He began making suggestive comments, his eyes lingering on her in a way that made her skin crawl. "You've grown into a fine young woman, Adama," he said, his voice low and unsettling. "Why don't you come over here and keep me company?" Adama's heart raced. She tried to keep her composure, backing away slowly. "I have work to finish, Bayo. Grace will be back soon," she replied, her voice steady but her hands trembling. Bayo stepped closer, a predatory smile on his face. "Grace won't be back for hours. Come on, don't be shy," he urged, reaching out to touch her. Panic surged through Adama. She recoiled, shaking her head vehemently. "No, Bayo, this isn't right. Please, just leave me alone," she pleaded. Bayo's face twisted with anger at her rejection. He grabbed her arm, his grip tight and painful. "You'll regret this, Adama," he hissed before storming out of the workshop. When Grace returned that evening, she was greeted by an agitated Bayo. He wasted no time in spinning his deceitful tale. "Grace, your precious Adama tried to seduce me today. I told her to stop, but she wouldn't listen," he lied, his voice filled with feigned indignation. Grace's face hardened with fury. She turned to Adama, her eyes blazing with anger and disappointment. "Is this true, Adama? Did you try to seduce my husband?" she demanded. Adama was stunned, unable to comprehend what was happening. "No, Grace, it's not true. Bayo was the one who," she began, but Grace cut her off. "Enough, I don't want to hear your lies. You've betrayed my trust, and now you're trying to break my marriage," Grace shouted. Her voice echoed through the workshop, each word a dagger to Adama's heart. "Get out, I don't ever want to see you again." Tears streamed down Adama's face as she pleaded with Grace to believe her, but it was no use. Grace's mind was made up, and nothing Adama said could change it. With a heavy heart, Adama gathered her belongings, her vision blurred by tears. She had lost her home and her mentor in the span of a few devastating moments. Clutching the small pouch of money she had saved from her work, Adama walked away from the workshop that had been her sanctuary. She felt utterly alone, with no idea where to go or what to do next. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Adama made her way to the city. The journey was long and arduous, but she knew she had no choice. She needed to start anew, far away from the village that had brought her so much pain. The city was a bustling, chaotic place, filled with people from all walks of life. Adama felt overwhelmed by the noise and the crowds, but she was determined to find a way to survive. She used her meager savings to rent a small, dingy room and began looking for work. Days turned into weeks, and Adama faced countless rejections. Employers dismissed her for her lack of formal education and experience. Her spirit, though battered, refused to break. She took on odd jobs, cleaning and running errands, saving every coin she earned. One day, while walking through a busy market, Adama noticed a small pottery shop. The sight of the beautifully crafted pots and vases brought a flood of memories. Summoning her courage, she approached the shop owner, a kind old man named Mr. Johnson. "Excuse me, sir," Adama began, her voice trembling slightly. "I have experience in pottery. I used to work in a workshop in my village. Can you please give me a chance to work here?" Mr. Johnson looked at her thoughtfully before nodding. "Show me what you can do," he said, handing her a lump of clay. With practiced hands, Adama began shaping the clay, her fingers moving with a confidence born from years of practice. She created a delicate vase, its form elegant and precise. Mr. Johnson watched in silence, his expression one of approval. "You have talent," he said finally. "I could use someone like you in my shop. You can start tomorrow." Adama's heart soared with relief and gratitude. She thanked Mr. Johnson profusely and left the shop with a renewed sense of hope. The job was demanding, but she poured her heart into her work, slowly rebuilding her life. As months passed, Adama saved enough money to open her own pottery shop. Her unique designs and dedication attracted customers, and her business began to flourish. She hired a few workers, giving them the opportunities she had once yearned for. Years passed, and Adama's pottery business flourished beyond her wildest dreams. She became a successful businesswoman, known throughout the city for her exquisite designs and entrepreneurial spirit. Her shop expanded into a large studio, employing many artisans who admired her skill and dedication. Adama's life was filled with contentment and purpose, her past struggles a distant memory. Despite her success, Adama never forgot her village or the family that had cast her aside. She often thought about them, wondering if they ever regretted their harsh treatment. One day, a letter arrived that would change everything. The neat handwriting on the envelope was unmistakable. It was from Nancy, her childhood friend. "Dear Adama, I hope this letter finds you well. I must share some sad news. Your family has fallen on hard times. Papa's health is failing, and they are struggling to make ends meet. Mama is beside herself with worry. Kemi has faced numerous setbacks, and their arrogance has left them isolated and in need. Please come back. They need you now more than ever. With love, Nancy." Adama's heart ached as she read Nancy's words. Despite everything, they were still her family, and she could not ignore their plight. She decided it was time to return to Ayodele, not only to help her family, but also to seek closure for the wounds of the past. The journey back to her village was a mix of emotions. Memories flooded her mind, both bitter and sweet. When she arrived, she found the village much the same, yet everything felt different. The once lively atmosphere seemed subdued, and the vibrant colors of her childhood were dulled by the weight of her family's struggles. Adama made her way to her family home, where she was greeted by Nancy. Her friend's eyes were filled with concern, but also hope. "Adama, thank you for coming. They need you," Nancy said softly. Inside, Adama found her father lying in bed, looking frail and weak. Her mother sat by his side, her face etched with worry and regret. Kemi, her once proud and arrogant sister, stood near the window, her eyes filled with a sadness Adama had never seen before. Despite having good grades, she had not been able to secure a job after graduation. "Adama, you've come back," Mama whispered, tears filling her eyes. Adama nodded, feeling a mix of emotions. "Yes, Mama, I'm here to help," she replied, her voice steady. For the first time in years, the family sat together, sharing their struggles and regrets. Papa apologized for his harshness, his voice trembling with remorse. "I was wrong, Adama. We all were. Can you ever forgive us?" he asked. Tears welled up in Adama's eyes as she reached out to hold her father's hand. "I forgive you, Papa. We all make mistakes," she said softly. Her forgiveness brought a sense of relief to the room, but Adama knew there was one more place she needed to visit. She walked to Grace's house, memories of the past swirling in her mind. She knocked on the door, and when Grace opened it, her eyes widened in shock and then filled with tears. "Adama, I'm so sorry," Grace said, her voice choked with emotion. I should have believed you. I found out the truth after you left. Bio's lies have haunted me every day since. Adama hugged Grace, feeling the weight of the past lift from her shoulders. It's all right, Grace. You gave me a chance when no one else did. I owe you my success, she said warmly. To show her gratitude, Adama built a larger, better-equipped pottery workshop for Grace. It became a place where villagers could learn the craft, continuing the legacy that had started with Grace's kindness. The new workshop stood as a symbol of forgiveness and new beginnings. Adama also decided to help her sister Kemi, who had faced numerous hardships after their parents' fall from grace. She offered her a job in her company, giving her the opportunity to rebuild her life. Kemi was humbled and grateful, their past rivalry replaced with a newfound bond of mutual respect and understanding. But Adama's generosity did not end there. She remembered Nancy's unwavering support and kindness throughout their school years. Nancy had always believed in her, even when no one else did. Adama sought out Nancy, finding her in the modest home. "Nancy, my dear friend," Adama said, embracing her warmly. "You have always been there for me. I want to repay your kindness." Nancy smiled, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You don't have to repay me, Adama. I'm just glad to see you succeed." Adama shook her head. "No, I insist. I want to help you achieve your dreams, just as you helped me." Adama offered Nancy a position in her company, recognizing her talents and potential. Nancy accepted, her heart filled with joy and appreciation. Together, they worked side by side, building a business that became renowned not only for its beautiful pottery, but also for its commitment to community and empowerment. As time passed, Adama's life continued to flourish. She met a man who cherished her and gave her all the love she deserved. And together, they had their own beautiful family. Her children grew up surrounded by love and creativity. Her pottery business expanded even further, gaining international recognition for its unique designs and craftsmanship. The lessons she had learned through her struggles guided her, making her a compassionate and wise leader. Adama's return to Iodale brought healing not just to her family, but to the entire village. Her story of resilience and forgiveness inspired many, reminding them that even in the face of adversity, one could find strength and purpose. Adama had come full circle, turning the pain of her past into a foundation for a brighter future. I hope you enjoyed the story. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Kindly like this video and subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos.